So good afternoon everyone. I am Anish Singh, and as all of you know, sir has already introduced. So basically I will be taking the history section, and all of you will be knowing about this pattern, that basically the GS portion 1, GS paper 1, it is having some of the syllabus which is related to history. Now if in the beginning I shall talk about that what is the nature of question or what is history basically. Now, there is very less difference between history what you get in the GS paper and history what you study in the optional paper. There is very less difference is there. Now what is that less difference? That less difference is only in terms of framing of the question. And based upon that framing, whatever answer you will write, that will differ. So that is that small difference. So when whether you are studying it for GS subject or whether you are studying it for your optional, you cannot skip those topics. Suppose for example any theme is there, you are studying the economic impact of British rule in India. Now you cannot say that I will study only at the surface level, that okay this was the impact. But rather whatever the themes are there, then the sub themes are there, then the subtopics are there, you have to understand the impact. The impact and the legacy. Legacy means what? Even after the Britishers left India, what kind of impact or what kind of things which still remains in our Indian society or in our present India. So in that way you have to understand. Obviously the difference in terms of writing down the answer is that you don't have to quote or you don't have to write historiography. In the GS paper, there is no need. You have to deal with the conceptual part of the question. Whatever the question is there, there is some concept revolve around it. And when you write down the concept, you have to substantiate that concept with the relevant example, and that relevant example is known as facts in history. Okay? So in that way, it will become more clear to you as we move forward in the session. So let us move one by one towards the. So first of all, syllabus. The syllabus of history as per GS paper 1. So first of all, Indian culture. All of you people are knowing about it, art form, literature, architecture. Then modern Indian history from middle to 18th century. Then we have the freedom struggle, post-independence India, and then the history of the world. So these are the broad parameters in which the UPSC is asking the question. Now if we go through this question of this year, we will find, so when we analyze the trend, first of all there is a myth around UPSC, or sometimes there is even while giving the PT examination, sometimes you people find that UPSC is giving question which is out of box in nature. So we have seen that in PT part. Many a times the UPSC is going even beyond the syllabus, out of the things which is not known. But is the UPSC doing the same thing in the GS paper, in the mains examination? Let us see that. Explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. Now what do you think? This is a question which is purely related to your art and culture part, Indian culture. Now you will say how? Development role of geographical factors in the development of ancient India. Now when you study the first topic in the ancient history, the prehistoric society, and if you study their geographic distribution, you will find that if we draw the map of India, they are located only on the hilly areas, where hills are situated, where forests are there. But they are not situated over those areas where the plain Ganga, Jamuna, Dwab is there, the plain area. So that geographical factors help them because they have a natural cave system. They have to protect themselves from the water fire. If they are living in the forest, then the hunt is available. So that is another geographical factor. So similarly, we will find that these questions are not out of box. Again, what was the difference between the approach between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore? Modern Indian history from about middle of the 18th century, significant events, personalities, always. It is there, and even in one of the discussion class, I had told that this is one of the very much expected question. While taking the Takkar discussion, I had told that question based on Gandhi and Tagore, it is the most expected question which is going to become in the UPSC, and it has become a prophecy was made and it is now a fact. Okay, so we the fact that when we study the modern Indian history, and in that economic history or that economic impact of the colonial rule is there, and there is a debate in Indian history that whether the impact or the coming of the Britishers completely ruined the Indian society or Indian economy or not. But when we see that, when we see all this, there were certain positive impacts also, and in one of the positive impact is the railways. क्योंकि जब वो छोड़ के गए हम लोगों को, तो ऐसा तो नहीं था ना कि पटरी भी उखाड़ के लेके अपने साथ चले गए. ऑलरेडी पूरे के पूरे हिंटरलैंड को उन्होंने पोर्ट के साथ में कनेक्ट कर दिया. तो बाद में तो हमने उसी चीज को एक्वायर किया. हाँ, लॉस किस फॉर्मेट में होता था? वेयर वॉज द लॉस? द प्रॉफिट विच वॉज देयर दैट वॉज सेंट आउटसाइड द इंडिया, विच वॉज टू बी इन्वेस्टेड इन इंडिया, दैट वॉज द ड्रेन ऑफ वेल्थ. बट दैट मटेरियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, दैट मटेरियल थिंग was there in India. So it is in that context that very cleverly the UPSC has linked your subject, your modern Indian history with the world history. So that is why the nature of the question is bring out the socio-economic effect of the introduction in railways in different countries of the world. So how you can attempt this question. So for example, it is written different countries of the world. So you can take two case study, India and Britain. Just it is happened. You have to be smart enough to answer this question. It is a 10 marker question, 150 word is there. Obviously when you are preparing, you would see railways was introduced in every continent. But have you studied this? No, it is not possible for you to study all the development of railways of every subcontinent or every continent. So basic thing is there. Here you make a comparison between India and Britain and how it was different from each other. So in that way you try to answer this question. Now what were the main features of Vedic society and religion? Again it is a part of Indian culture. This line primarily belongs to ancient India. Do you think some of the features are still prevailing in the Indian society? In that way it has connected the legacy to the modern time, and that is why it is Indian culture. Because it is a part, there are many things are there. When we will have a discussion session upon this question, we will discuss it. Okay. Now, what were the major technological changes introduced during the Sultanate period? Again, it is a part of culture. Okay. Medieval India. We study this. And now the last, how did the colonial rule affect the tribals in India? Very short, very straight question. Tribal history, peasant revolts, tribal revolts. We study this. It is, enormously it has given, any book you take, it has been dealt. Now after this, what we come to know? Can we say that the nature of the question or whatever the question which has been asked, are they out of syllabus? No. Now let us understand, go to another part. Okay. So generally if we see the nature of the question it is from 2013 going up to 2023. Okay. When for the first time the syllabus was changed, at that time the number of questions asked in history was magnificent. So, but after that it started significantly declining, and from 2018 onward there is a pattern. 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75. So by and large you are going to get around 6 questions in the 10 mark with a combination of 10 marker and a combination of 15 marker. This is the pattern. 75, 6 question. It is a general pattern which has been made. Now we have understood the nature or the pattern of the marking. Now we will further go that in what subcategories the question will be. As when we study history, we study ancient, medieval, we study modern, we study post-independent India, we study world history. So now there is a question that is there any portion which has its always a higher weightage? That question will always come from this section and this is one of the most neglected section, or there is a less probability that question will come in a less amount from this portion. So when we see this trend, what do you find? Majority of time it is the early medieval India in which the less amount of question is there. So early medieval India is from post Gupta 750 AD and before the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, so that is the period where less number of questions are there. Then medieval has maintained, and after this there is a fluctuation. Fluctuation is there. Consistency is not there. Overall, if we see that modern India has always its weightage. 2-3 questions always will be there. Sometimes it can be 4-5 also. So this is the nature of the question which is going on. Sometimes sometimes in an alternate basis, after 2-3 years, either you will get world history question or either you will get post-independence history question. So there is a sometimes choice between them, between world history and the post-independent history. So what does it makes us for a UPSC candidate who is going to appear in the next year or in the subsequent years? What is the trend? That shall we leave any part? No. We cannot leave any part. Okay. This is the understanding we need to develop, that we have to prepare our syllabus thoroughly in a very comprehensive manner and at the same time in an exhaustive manner also. We cannot skip the topic, we cannot skip anything. And now if you see this year's question, now what is the demand of the UPSC towards, what does UPSC says with respect to the GS subject or the mains examination? That the aim and the objective of the examination is to test the intellectual standard of the candidate. So here you see, explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. History को geography के साथ connect कर दिया. So there is analytical. Yes, अब एक घोड़े की नाल की तरह नहीं कि बस एक जगह जहां पे देख रहे हैं बस खाली सिर्फ उतना ही सोच रहे हैं. GS पेपर 1 है, इसमें हिस्ट्री भी है, ज्योग्राफी भी है, सोसाइटी भी है. क्वेश्चंस ऐसे बनाए गए हैं कि तीनों को एक दूसरे के साथ लिंक कर दिया गया है. What were the main features of the Vedic society and religion? Do you think some of the features are still prevailing in the Indian society? लो, सोसाइटी के साथ भी इसको लिंक कर दिया. So the question is demanding, the question is not easy in nature, I will say, but it ranges from moderate to analytical level. Difficult नहीं है. It is not difficult. The nature of the question is that it is from moderate towards the analytical. कि जब आप किसी चीज को पढ़ते हैं तो आप खुले दिमाग से उसको पढ़ते हैं या नहीं पढ़ते हैं, आप सोच रहे हैं या नहीं सोच रहे हैं. For example, when you are studying the 16 Mahajanpads, when you study their geographical location, why is it that the oligarchy Mahajanpads are only located in the hillsides? And why the monarchical Mahajanpads, they are located in the plain? Temple architecture. When we see the temple architecture of the eastern India, why they have a slope? And when we visit the central India, why there is a large distance between the platform and the surface level is there and the roof is there? Heat dissipation. There is a technology behind it. So you have to understand these points. You have to give this point. ये नहीं कि बस 4 फैक्ट रट लिया कि यहाँ पे ये टेम्पल्स थे, वहां पे ये थे और उसका एग्जाम्पल याद कर लिया, बस नहीं, ऐसे नहीं होगा. आप जब उसके टेक्नोलॉजिकल फीचर को अगर पढ़ रहे हैं कि पहले अमालक था, अमालक से कलश आया, कहीं पे फिर गोपुरम था, क्यों गोपुरम का डेवलपमेंट हुआ, पहले क्यों टेम्पल छोटे थे, अगर सैंडस्टोन से ब्रिक की तरफ में आता है, ब्रिक से इंटरलॉकिंग टाइल्स अगर बनता है तो क्यों बनता है. While studying the temple architecture, you have to ask this question. You have to find the reasons for this. So in that way you develop your intellectual capacity, and that way your analytical power will come. So the question is not difficult, it is analytical. It is testing your intellectual capacity. And what is basically intellectualism? That you are not narrow-minded person. अरे मैं हिस्ट्री का हूं तो मैं बस खाली सिर्फ हिस्ट्री पढ़ूंगा. नहीं, आप हिस्ट्री वाले हैं तो आप पॉलिटी भी अच्छे से जानते हैं. पॉलिटी अगर आप हैं, क्योंकि कल को आपको एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर बनना है, उस समय आप थोड़ी बोलेंगे कि मैं सिर्फ यही काम करूंगा, ये काम नहीं करूंगा. थाउजेंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स कैन बी देयर. आपको कभी रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट में भेजा जा सकता है, कभी पुलिसिंग डिपार्टमेंट में भेजा जा सकता है, कभी कल्चरल मिनिस्ट्री में भेजा जा सकता है, आपको कभी एजुकेशन मिनिस्ट्री में भेजा जा सकता है, कहीं भी आपको पोस्टिंग किया जा सकता है. सो दैट दिस क्वेश्चंस, द फ्रेमिंग ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन रिफ्लेक्ट्स द डिमांड ऑफ द यूपीएससी, कि व्हाट इट डिमांड्स फ्रॉम अ कैंडिडेट. सो आई थिंक इट इज नाउ क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू दैट it is not difficult, rather it is analytical. Okay, so this is all clear to you. I think all of you know. Now what do we understand? Range of question. So entire syllabus is covered. Whatever the UPSC has given the syllabus, you need to prepare it thoroughly you have to prepare it. Keep that in mind. If you are leaving any part just with the perception that in the previous 2 years topic questions related to this topic has not been asked, no. If questions related to that particular topic has not been asked in the previous 2 or 3 years, then there is a definite probability that question is going to come. So you should not skip that topic. Personality वाला question 2-3 साल पहले रविन्द्रनाथ टैगोर महात्मा गांधी और बी.आर. अम्बेडकर के बीच में आया था. फिर उससे पहले सुभाष चंद्र बोस के साथ में आया था, और 2-3 साल तक नहीं आया क्वेश्चन कोई भी. सो मॉडर्न इंडिया के मेकर्स में जब हम बात करते हैं, दिस टॉपिक इज रिलेटेड टू योर पॉलिटिकल साइंस ऑल्सो एंड रिलेटेड टू योर एथिक्स ऑल्सो. तो हम 4 मेन पिलर्स को पढ़ते हैं: महात्मा गांधी, बी.आर. अम्बेडकर, टैगोर एंड जवाहरलाल नेहरू. तो इनके बारे में तो आप लोग एकदम याद होना चाहिए कि किस किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इनके क्या क्या आइडियाज थे. नेशनलिज्म के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, एजुकेशन के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, सोसाइटी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, स्टेट का रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैसे होना चाहिए, लैंग्वेज की तरफ में पॉलिसी क्या होना चाहिए. एटलीस्ट इन 4 पर्सनालिटीज का तो आपको होना ही चाहिए आपके पास में नॉलेज. और उसमें देखो आ ही गया, नॉलेज कर लिया, फिर दोनों के बीच में कंपैरिजन. सो अगेन एनालिटिकल, कि आप एनालाइज कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते हैं. नेचर ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड, फ्रॉम मॉडरेट टू एनालिटिकल लेवल. एडवांस्ड लेवल है. एडवांस क्या है? इसलिए नहीं कि वो डिफिकल्ट है, दैट इट कैन नॉट बी अटेम्प्टेड. अरे यार कहां से पढ़े, कहां से, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. वो आपके सारे एम्बिट में वॉट एवर द क्वेश्चन दैट हैज बीन गिवन इन दिस पेपर, ऑल दिस 6 क्वेश्चन हैज इट्स इसेंस इन द एनसीईआरटी. कोई एक इसमें से ऐसा क्वेश्चन नहीं है जो कि एनसीईआरटी में नहीं अवेलेबल है. हाँ, you will not get the entire answer written. It is not that the entire, आपने बस वो चैप्टर खोला, वहां से एक थीम उठाया और आप उसका पूरा आंसर. No. But whatever the theme which has been picked, whatever the basis on which the question has been framed, all the topics are there in the NCERT. So never skip the NCERT. Even for your PT part also and even for your mains part also. कभी भी उसको skip नहीं करना है. ये सारे के सारे क्वेश्चंस जो भी हैं, ये अगर आप एनसीईआरटी, मॉडर्न एनसीईआरटी अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो सारे में आपको मिल जाएगा. आपको ये टॉपिक्स मिल जाएंगे. आपको खोजना पड़ेगा, थोड़ा सा पढ़ना पड़ेगा. यू नीड टू एनालाइज, यू नीड टू डेवलप, यू नीड टू रीड, देन यू विल फाइंड दैट अच्छा ये तो था इसके अंदर में. और उसके बाद से अगर थोड़ा सा अगर आप उसके ऊपर सर्च करते, यू कुड हैव गिवन दैट. ओके, नाउ फ्यूचर स्ट्रेटेजी क्या होना चाहिए? So what should be your future strategy? Read the NCERTs very carefully. Okay. Second part, go through the PYQs. Go through the PYQs and based upon that, you must try to write down the answer. And with from wherever you are preparing, you need to get yourself evaluated. पढ़ के सिर्फ नहीं होगा, आप सिर्फ पढ़ लेंगे तो आपसे ये एग्जाम नहीं निकलेगा। आपको अपने आप को इवैल्यूएट करवाना पड़ेगा, अपने आप को एनालाइज करवाना पड़ेगा कि हाँ जो मैं लिख रहा हूं, जो मैं समझता हूं, वेदर इट इज राइट और नॉट। सो यू नीड टू गेट योर सेल्फ इवैल्यूएटेड, और फिर उसमें जो रिमार्क्स मिलता है उसके ऊपर वर्क करना है, ठीक है। सो फ्यूचर स्ट्रेटेजी, एनसीईआरटीज, राइट डाउन आंसर एज मच एज पॉसिबल। पहले पीवाईक्यूज लिखा, और फिर उसके बाद में जो भी जैसे आपने जैसे टक्कर टेस्ट सीरीज दे रखा है या कहीं पे भी आपने ज्वाइन किया हुआ है, तो आप उसके क्वेश्चंस को डेली बेसिस पे लिखिए। कितना टाइम लगता है? 8 से 10 मिनट। एक टॉपिक जैसे ही कंप्लीट हुआ उससे रिलेटेड जितने भी क्वेश्चंस आपको मिल रहे हैं, एक फ्रेंड सर्कल आपका होता है, तो एक को बोलिए कि वहां से क्वेश्चंस लेके आ जाए, एक को बोलना कि वहां से क्वेश्चंस लेके आ जाए, और फिर एक जगह पे कलेक्शन कर लो क्वेश्चंस का और फिर आंसर राइटिंग करो। मॉडल आंसर अगर मिल जाता है तो वहां से 2 देख के करो। नहीं कुछ समझ में आ रहा है तो आप जिस भी फैकल्टी के साथ में जहां पे भी जुड़े हुए हैं उनसे थोड़ा सा राय ले लीजिए। सो दैट शुड बी द स्ट्रेटेजी। ओके, आफ्टर दैट देयर आर सर्टेन बुक्स आर देयर, द स्टैंडर्ड टेक्स्ट्स आर देयर। ओके, एज फार एज if we talk about ancient India, now the role of, yes, I am not denying that you should not study and read R.S. Sharma. You should read it, but some selected chapters and some selected topics are there from the Upender Singh, which you need to read. Not everything. And here, obviously, faculty will help you. In order to read and understand Upender Singh, you need the help of the faculty. This is the one thing. The second thing is, either you can, for medieval India, if we are talking about, you can go through Satish Chandra. Okay, that is one another source for your medieval India, Satish Chandra, history of medieval India. And now as far as modern India is concerned and post-independent India, you have the Bipin Chandra text. For modern India, it is the India struggle for independence. You should read that part. See, many of you ask us a question that reading spectrum is that should we read the spectrum or not. I am not denying that you should not read it, but the point is that you will not get that intellectual answer, that intellectual underpinning is missing in that spectrum. So your ability to question, ability to look beyond what is at the surface level, that is not going to develop by reading only spectrum. It may help you to clear the prelims examination. It may also help you to clear the mains examination also. But that nature, the quality will not come. And only if you are reading the Bipin Chandra once, at least you will get an edge over all other candidates. See, we are in, what is this examination? This is all about competition. You don't have to get any kind of school or any college degree. So it will help you to get an edge over this competition. Similarly, for post-independent India, you have India Since Independence, again which is written by Bipin Chandra, and many other editors are there. And world history, you can go towards the old NCERT by Arjun Dev. Okay, that book is there, you can prepare from that. Moreover, you can also refer to IGNOU notes also. For your mains part, you can also refer the IGNOU notes. That is also having a good amount of content. Okay, that you can also refer for your mains preparation for your GS history portion. IGNOU notes. Not the honors part, but the program. Whenever you go through the IGNOU portal, you will find that there is a program. Program is combination of subjects. Honors, basically we have multiple subject honors related degrees are there, so that you have to keep that in mind. Okay, so again that source is helpful. Now as far as furthermore preparation if you need, then we have our Takkar test series. Takkar test series is there. Then we have our ED classes also. Now there is one question, that whether that current affair has any role towards history questions or not. See, history has one question. It is not that in this year that question has come, but in the previous year there was one question related to the motives of the lion and the bull symbol. Previous year when the new parliament was made, the lion symbol which is there in the national emblem, it was in news, and based upon that the UPSC has framed the question. This year there is no question related to current affair, no direct linkages is there, but still current affair has its value. So you should need to study it also. Our DTRS session is there every day at 4 p.m. DTRS session is taken. So you should watch. So sometimes that current affair part, whenever it is going, you should see that whether it is related to art and culture, and if that topic is not only limited to MCQ part. For example, if you are reading the Hoysala, right now it has been given the UNESCO status. So there is a probability that they can ask you that how the Hoysala art evolved, what are the phases, what are the important features of that. So that you should prepare. Okay, this is the thing. Now, sources of preparation, I think everything I have done. Okay, any kind of question, any kind of doubt from anyone? See, if you can do it on your own, थोड़ा हिस्ट्री का सिलेबस जो है वो क्या हो, थोड़ा वास्ट है. एज फार एज पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी और इकोनॉमिक्स का अगर हम बात करें तो ये थोड़ा लेंदी सिलेबस है. तो आपको इसे पहले कवर करना चाहिए. पहले कवर करिए. इन चारों सब्जेक्ट के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. थोड़ा सा डेप्थफुल अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी है. बाकी के सब्जेक्ट जो है वो थोड़े से वॉल्यूमिनस कम है. ये 4 सब्जेक्ट वॉल्यूमिनस ज्यादा है. तो पहले इसे कवर कर लीजिए, ये ज्यादा बेहतर रहेगा. Other than that, if you can still do after December or from January, you can do it. There is no issue in that. But provided it depends upon you whether you can do it. Okay.